Good evening, folks. How you doing today? Looks like we've got ourselves another roll to go through. It's a 1997 Philadelphia roll. How you doing, Joe and Eric? You guys got about as much to do with the rest of your life as I do, huh? I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everyone who shows up. I'm looking for... I thought I had a free spot in this roll. I've got to go check. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48. I guess not. I thought I had an extra in this roll, but I don't. So all 50 accounted for right here. And so now we've got Darwin Dodson, hello, and Feudal Hertz, and let's see, Farm Dog. Yeah, a number of people here. I appreciate it. So what we're doing is we're opening in this roll of 1997 Philadelphia Lincoln Cents, never been opened before. We don't know anything beyond what's on the outside edge of the roll. And we're opening it for the people who purchased the 50 coins in the roll prior to it being opened. These are all name chips for those people. So what I've got now is 50 names. I've got 50 flip inserts, 50 flips ready to go, and one bag. I'll put the names in the bag, and as I draw names, the coins go to those people. So get the names in there, get them all mixed up, and I'll go ahead and I'll draw. The first person out of here, the first person to get a coin out of here is going to be Wild Bill. So let me go ahead and open the roll. I use my little plastic tool here, and I just find the end of the paper, and I start prying outward on it with this plastic tool. It doesn't hurt the coins, doesn't affect the coins in any way, actually. Then get on to the other side and do the same thing to the other side. Now I've got it open, ready to unroll it. I unroll the wrapper over the coins just to make sure that I always do it the exact same way every time. Hello, Frank. Ooh, we're going to run into an issue here. This has circulated coins inside of it. That's not good. I tell you what I'll do is as soon as we get done here, I'm going to find another 97 roll, and I'll make sure we do 50 coins total. 50 uncirculated coins. So let's take a look at the first coin in the roll. That's a 1987 D, which obviously does not belong in a 1997 OBW roll. This was purchased as a 1997 OBW roll, so shame on me, right? Had 1997 on the end. So that one's not going to go. It doesn't have anything on it anyway. If it does, I'll just give it to you anyhow. But this one's a 96, so it looks like we ran into just a totally mishmash, mixed up circulated roll here that were supposed to be all 1997 BU coins. So that's not going to help us much at all. So what we'll do is we'll just go along until we hit a 1997 cent, or we hit a die variety. If we hit a die variety before we hit a 1997 cent, then you'll get the die variety. Otherwise, you'll get the 97 cent when we come by it. That was nothing. Let's see, next coin is another 96. This is not so good. There are double dies in 1996 to be watching for, so we could be watching for the double dies that come out of 96 as well. Yeah, this turned out to be a mixed roll. It was original bankroll, Now you can tell for sure that I don't look through any of these prior to opening them. I have no idea what's inside the roll before I open it. And I assume this was a 97 OBW roll because it had nice, bright, uncirculated coins at both ends. And turned out not to be the case. So here's a 97. I always look for that little phantom mint mark. This one does not have it. I'll show it to you when we do get to one. I look for the doubled ear, of course. And I look around for any other anomaly on the coin. I don't see anything at present. There are a few double die reverses that all involve the very center of the design. And this one does not have any of them. It is a close AM, as it's supposed to be. This at one point in time was at the end of a roll. So this is truly a circulated roll that was just wrapped back up at whatever bank wrapped these that had started out as BU coins. So that's the first 97. We'll give that one to Wild Bill. I'll find us another 97 roll eventually here. The Phantom S was the 98 issue that I know of. All right, so Joe McBride gets the next one. Here's another, well, that's a 96. Hey, folks. Well, let's see. How about if we do it this way? We haven't found anything in this roll so far. Let me go grab another roll and see if I can get an actual 97 roll that we can open. I have to finish looking at this coin first. Can't let that get away. This one's got a little bit of scraping from the eject arm, from the feeder finger they call it. Okay, we're going to toss the rest of this roll, and I'm going to put these names back in the bag, and we're going to start all over. We are going to start all over. I'll figure out what's in this pile of coins later, because I really don't care right now. Hang on a second while I go find a 97 roll. Well, folks, guess what Chuck is completely out of stock on? 1997 rolls. So here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to find a suitable solution. It's going to be a substitute roll that we're going to have to come up with. And I'm not sure right now what to do. Man, I've been stuck more times. This has been a horrible day. Been a really horrible day. Not really sure what to say about this. Don't run into rolls very often that are not what they say they are. Anybody have any suggestions? Hey, well, Bill, what you missed is the roll that we thought was a 97 roll. Turned out to be a mixed circulated and BU roll. So there's circulated coins in here, there's BU coins in here. Most of the BU coins are 96, a couple of them are 97. Get a good old tubed roll of early 60s. Let me see what I can find. How about this little guy right here? This is an original. It's an original bank wrapped roll, Detroit Branch, Fed Reserve of Chicago. It's a 1960D roll. How about that? You want a 96 or a 98 roll? Okay, I don't know that I have any 96 rolls. I do have one that's supposed to be a 98 roll, but that was going to come a little bit later on this evening. So I can give us a choice between that or, let me take a look. Okay, there's a 1959D roll. And then I have 2000 Philadelphia. That would give us a chance of finding the white AMs. Hey Jess, we ran into a little bit of a problem. I opened this roll up and the first coin out of the roll was a 1987D. And the second one was a 1996, and there's circulated coins all through here. So this is not an original roll of 97. It's what we thought it was, but it did not turn out to be the case. So I pulled out this roll of 1960D. I pulled out a roll of 1959D. And I pulled out a roll of 2000 plain. And so I'm going to give everyone who has spots in the roll who is here a chance to vote. Please don't vote if you are not already in the roll. I write numbers down here. So what I want you to do is vote for the roll you want to see opened in lieu of what was supposed to be a 1997 OBW roll. So there's a 1, a 2, a 3. 1, 2, or 3. You have a 1960D roll, a 1959D roll, or a 2000 Philadelphia roll. All right, everybody who is involved in this roll, who has spots in this roll, please vote now. Okay, Farm Dog and Eric have both voted for the 60D, so has Joe McBride. Well, Bill goes for the 59D, JOB for the 60D, Farm Dog for the 60D. Hi, Steve. So we're having an issue. The roll that we were supposed to open now was not an original 1997 Philadelphia roll. It turned out that it was a mixed circulated roll with 1997 on the end. And that does happen sometimes, but now I have to come up with a solution for what are we going to do instead. So what we're going to do instead is one of these three rolls. This is a 1960D roll, large date. This is a 1959D roll. And this is a 2000 roll. And for the money that you spent on the spots that you've got, which one of these would you prefer to see by number? 1, 2, or 3? I think we're probably going to end up going with number 1 because we have, it appears as though we have almost all of our votes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 6 have voted for the 60D and 1 vote for the 59D. Okay, well, Bill says 60D is fine with him too. So what we're going to end up doing, let me get all these other coins out of the way, because these don't belong to what we're doing now. Get all these little guys out of the way. I'll go ahead and go through this other roll, and then what I'll do is I'll draw. If I find anything, I'll draw to see, I'll draw from the current roll to see who gets whatever I find in the other roll and just stick it in with it. Best way to handle that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the 1960D roll, which is this one right here. So let me get these other ones out of the way. And this one I'm pretty sure is a real 1960D roll. Move these back up, and we're going to change roll reveal number 104 to be a 1960D OPW roll. Just these came out of the Chicago Horde. So there's no telling what we really ended up with. You want a number 104B? Is that what you're looking for, Coin Dragon? 104 is a small date. Unless we're not talking about that, unless we're talking about something different. There we go. Paper over the coins, just like usual. We're going to start all over here. This is reveal number 104. Yeah, 104B. I guess I'll change that. Actually, it doesn't even need to be 104B because we never went through a 97 roll to begin with. So I'll just change the title. And this is a Fed Reserve wrapped roll. Where was it from again? Yeah, let's see. I think it's Detroit. Yeah. Detroit branch of the Fed Reserve Bank of Chicago. $1960D. I'm going to go ahead and put a large date on here because I do believe these are a large date. $1960D large date Detroit Fed Reserve wrapped roll. There we go. So now, without further ado, let's get on this. First name will be Midnight Silver Run. Midnight Silver Run will take the first coin in the roll. Wow, these are shiny. Wow. That's a nice amount of luster on there. And with the first coin in the roll, what do we have? It's a really, really minor split lower serif RPM, I do believe. I'm not going to put a whole lot of clout in that one. I don't think it's enough to list. But this is a super shiny roll. Super shiny coins. Nice, nice. Alright, that'll be Midnight's first coin. Best I could do, folks. Thanks for working with me on that. Go ahead and get his coin put over here where it belongs. Keep everything properly separated. Next, Shannon McCord. Shannon McCord will get the next coin. Gosh, this thing's shiny. Just real high luster coins. What do we get? That's the same die again, I do believe. Same die again. Get that little die scratch coming straight out of the nose there. So we got up and down die scratches in the date, and then one headed diagonally off the 9. So good markers for us to use right around the date area, so we'll know this die when we hit it again. And let me move on to the next coin after we look at the reverse here. Oop, got a spot on the eye. A little spot on the eye. Okay, that's coin number 2. That's Shannon McCord, coin number 2. Let's move on to coin number 3. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate that. I just try to do everything I can to be. I want this to be fun, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to, rip them a new one or anything. I want everything to be right on the up and up. See something wrong, do something about it. So we're going to look through this roll of 1960D and hope there's goodies in there. The first thing I want to make sure of is that there's actually goodies in here for you guys. Because already these aren't 1997 coins. Of course, they were only $1 a piece, so run into a good RPM, you could be talking about decent money. And I've had some luck with good RPMs this year. All right, coin number 4. Oh, wait, what did I put in there? Okay, coin number 4. That was Steve A. Coin number 4 will go to James Worley. Mr. Worley, what do you get here? Not seeing anything there. Let's find us a good marker. Big scratch coming out of the eye, but that's not a marker. Best thing I see for a marker are some light diagonal die scratches going just west of the mint mark. And no clash marks or anything like that to use. So we'll just move on around. Oh, there's a big die crack on the head. So a big die crack on the head. And a nice little patch of die scratches just to the west of the D mint mark. That's going to help us identify this die in the future when we run into it again, because we very likely will. And it has no die variety on it. There's no variety so far. We're only 4 coins into the roll, so we've still got plenty of hope for more die varieties. High grade coins could also be a possibility here, because this is a pretty nice roll. Next one out, it's going to be Jeff Dunn. Jeff Dunn will get the next coin in the roll. Okay, this one's got a strong die scratch from the tail of the 9 through the tail of the 1. So we can use that easily to know when we find this die again. And this one, and it appears again to be a very, very minor, maybe, RPM on the lower serif. I'm just not going to count it. Just too many of those little tiny minor ones for there to be any really marketable value on them. And identifying them can be an extreme bear. And this is supposed to be fun, not taxing. So given that it's supposed to be fun and not taxing, I prefer to stick with the ones that are just a little bit easier to pick apart from one another. All right, there's that. And that's that for that coin. Jeff Dunn gets that one. We're going to move on to the next coin in the roll. Hello, Antorta. Adam Chambers. Adam Chambers will pick up the next coin in the roll. Let's see what we've got here. I'm looking on the D, all around the D, and I'm looking all the way up to the in-between of the 9 and the 6. And then I look up here, and on 1960D, I'm especially watching up here for any doubling in InGod, because there are class 1 double dies. And there are also a few chances, anyway, for bar L's or doubled eyelids, which are rather common in that era. And I come around looking for anything on the reverse that marks it as being an unusual coin, and I don't find anything, so we're going to go ahead and flip this one up and move on to the next coin. What's up, Levels? So we're not going through a 1997 roll here as we were supposed to, because when I opened the 97 roll, well, the bank that wrapped it had craftily put together a full circulated roll with some 97s in it. And I didn't believe that to be fair at all to the constituency here, so I let them help me select another date to go through, and we decided on a 1960D large date, original bank wrapped roll. This is a Detroit Fed wrapped roll. Jewish Redneck Preppers, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to know you're doing fine. Aren't you from Louisiana? Something tells me that you're from Louisiana. Something tells me I remember you being from Louisiana. Who comes next? The chicken or Levels of Madness? It's going to be Levels of Madness. No chickens here. Let's see. What do we have next? Well, got nothing going on there. Later dice take coin with a whole lot of die scratches. Hope everybody out there is staying in out of the virus and staying nice and cozy in their house. Go outside when you don't see another soul. Take a short walk. Get yourself out of the house for a little while and then go stay right back inside your house again. That's what the government's telling us to do. I say if we do that, we'll stay alive longer. They've been telling me that all my life. Get out and exercise a little bit and you'll stay alive longer. My heart does pour completely out to the country of Italy, which is losing a lot of people to this virus. Oops. I get Level's name. What did I do wrong? Okay. I drew Shannon's name out. Levels goes in here. Shannon will get the next coin. That's what happened. There we go. Shannon gets the next coin in the roll. I don't want to see anybody suffer from this. Anybody, ever. It breaks my heart to see all the news and information that's going on around the world right now. I got somebody trying to call me. I need to look at it and see what it is. It's my father. I'll need to take it. It is my father. Well, I'll call him back as soon as this is over. So, my father lives down on the coast in Florida, and it could be a not so good call. But we're going to finish this first. Stay focused. And I'll call him back as soon as I'm done here. My father only calls about once a week, and so this was a unusual expectation that I said it's probably my father calling. That was kind of weird. All right, next in the roll, Mr. Paul Hampton. Paul Hampton will get this coin. Got nothing going on there. Let me send my dad a quick message and make sure he's okay. 74 years old and he lives in Florida. So let me make sure he's okay real quick. And that's Paul Hampton. What did I do with that? Okay, his coin's still under here. I sent him a quick message and ask him if he's okay. He's typing, so we'll see. He says yes. So everything's fine. He's probably just calling to catch up. Middle of a broadcast. Will call back. There. Middle of a broadcast and I'll call him back. So now everybody knows that I've done my sonly duties and telling my father everything's fine and asking him if he's okay. And I'll talk with him as soon as we get done here. Good gosh, really? You know, through a 1960 D roll too and not really find much. This is starting to hurt. Starting to hurt, folks. I'd at least expect to find some goodies in a 1960 D roll. What are we gonna do? Is what it is, right? We're only on coin number 11. We haven't found any die varieties so far. But I would kind of expect to find something in a 60D roll. Even really minor stuff. Almost every roll. That's one that, if you're into finding RPMs, 1960D is definitely the date to buy. Okay, Adam Chambers. Let's see what Adam Chambers gets out of here. They're very nice coins. There doesn't seem to be any die varieties in them. What do we have here? I think that's part of the front of the eye right there. We got nothing on the obverse here. Bunch of pretty good looking coins here. We've got a bunch of higher grade coins, nice 65s. We just don't happen to have any RPMs out of here yet. No RPMs, no double dies. We're down a dozen coins. And Farm Dog. Well, this one looks like an RPM, maybe. No. Boy. Very wishful thinking on my part, I tell ya. But it turns out to look like nothing once I turn the coin a little bit. And nothing else do I see here. There's only 3 people that I will interrupt a broadcast for on my telephone. 1 is my wife, 2 is my mother, and 3 is my father. Nobody else do I interrupt my broadcast for. And I'm sure everyone can understand that. My parents are in their mid-70s, and right now it's kind of a scary time for them. And my wife, well, she's the boss of the household, so you always answer to the boss, right? Still shaking the bush over here, boss. Still shaking it over here. No, Midnight, this isn't a 97 roll. Here's what happened. I got into the 97 roll, opened it up, and found the first coin was a 1987D. Second coin in the roll was a 1996 plain. Third coin was a 96 plain. Fourth coin was a 97 plain. So we had a 97 end capper that was a brand new bright shiny coin over a circulated roll. And somebody purchased that and saved it as a 97 roll, and of course it looked like a 97 roll, so it's been sold as a 97 roll for years. And here I open it up and it isn't one. So we had to find something to use as a good secondary to having a 97 roll. So I put out a few rolls for people to take a look at and vote for which one they wanted, and they picked 1960 Denver. And unfortunately, so far, this one isn't working out to return any goodies, which I had definitely hoped for, of course. I want all the goodies in your pockets, not mine. I don't really care. I love the coins. I love looking through them. But I prefer that you guys enjoy them. And, you know, getting duds all the time gets a little tiring. Of course, we had a really good roll a few days back. We get good rolls here once in a while. But lately, a lot of them have been duds. So that's Paul Hampton's coin number 15. Let me move on to coin number 16 and see what happens. Coin number 16 is to Deanne. Deanne gets coin number 16. Oi, oi. Still at nothing. Look at the reverse real quick and see if we have anything going on there. Okay, nothing on the reverse. That's coin number 16. And we'll move on to coin number 17. That'll be for Steve A. These are nice, bright, uncirculated coins. It doesn't do a whole lot that they aren't die varieties. Win some, you lose some. Just unfortunately, lately, we've been losing more than we've been winning. Can never predict the outcome of these rolls prior to opening them. Coin number 18, Jim Fletcher. Looks like we got nothing going on that coin. Let's keep moving things around. See if something shows up. Hey, Mr. Crescent. Yeah, this was supposed to be a 1997 Philadelphia roll. Turns out that we couldn't do a 97 Philadelphia roll because I don't have one. Thousands of rolls in inventory, and I don't have 1997 plain. I probably have some in my stockpile, but I don't have access to my stockpile in a hurry. Joe McBride. Joe McBride gets this coin and shows us nothing on this one. So it turns out that when you play the game of opening fresh material that has never been seen by human eyes before, you end up basically with a pig in a poke. Complete guess as to what you're going to end up with on the inside. And I guess that's probably the best way to handle this, because if I knew what was in the roll, then that wouldn't be very fun. Jim Fletcher again. Jim Fletcher for coin number 20. This is coin number 20. see nothing here. Run into this die before. I've seen those die gouges below the vest. Actually, below the shoulder. It's below the bust, below VDB, right there along the rim. There's some marks. These little guys right here. I've seen that today. A little feather. My little feathered friend. And what that came from. I don't have any feathers in this house that I know of. Alright, that's for Jim Fletcher. Let's take a look at coin number 21. Coin number 21 will go to Jeff Dunn. And we have nothing sailing here. That's Jeff Dunn, coin number 21 there. Take a look at the reverse and see if anything happened on the reverse. And no dice. Nothing there. So we'll move ourselves on to coin number 22. Sherman's doing okay. He's hopping along all right. He'll go outside and take a walk, and then he pretends like he's still hurt and wants to sit down just because he enjoys the air. So he'll do that, dragging his leg around until he decides he can sit down because he can't walk anymore, but we know better. He ran to get out to the place where he is, and then he can't walk back home. Smart dog. Just not smart enough to outsmart me. So here I am needing to go back to work, and he's sitting out there in the park, in the grass. I can't walk, Daddy. Can't walk. You have to pick me up. I can't walk. He acts like a toddler. He really does. Doing great, Shannon. So we ran into a little bit of an issue. Shannon's got spots in this roll, and I don't think he's heard this yet. That the 1997 Philadelphia roll that we were supposed to do this evening turned out to not be a 1997 Philadelphia roll, and I don't have any others. It was the only roll I had. So it turned out to be more or less a circulated roll with some nice uncirculated coins in it, but it was not a 1997 uncirculated roll. So I pulled out a few other rolls for people to choose from, and the people who were involved in that roll, I think there were 7 here at the time, picked 6-1 initially, and then all 7 decided to choose the 1960D roll. So now we're going through a 1960D roll as a substitute for the 97 roll, which I cannot replace at this time because I don't have a 97 roll. And I'm almost tempted to go ahead and open the 98 roll just to see if it indeed is a solid roll. And if not, I'm going to have to try finding a 98 roll prior to the time of the opening in 1 hour and 15 minutes. So I will probably do that. Just check it to make sure it's a full uncirculated roll, and if it's not, I'll replace it. I think we might have ourselves a minor RPM here. I never get the... No, we don't. That's just a reflection, I do believe. Oh, no, it could be doubling. Take a close look at it. Kind of hard to tell. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. I'm going to call a no on that for now and take a better look at it later as I go back through the roll before I pack them up to go to their new homes. But what I'm seeing doesn't look like an RPM here. So let's move it back out. Take a look at the rest of the coin. Got nothing there. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm going to pull open that 98 roll. Most of the people who are in the 97 roll were also in the 98 roll. Pretty much, generally the second I sold the 97 roll, I announced the 98 roll, and a lot of the same people came out. So I'm going to go ahead and bust the 98 roll during this reveal so you guys can actually see that it is a full roll of 98 and they're all uncirculated, and then I'm going to leave them alone until we come back for the reveal. That way I know I don't need to go scrambling for a 1998 roll somewhere or figuring out how to replace it. That could be that same die, but it just, man, it's really killing me. I can't figure it out, really. I don't know. I'll figure it out when I go back through it, but that looks like a reflection. Hello, Jeff Dunn. Like my 97 roll and how it turned into a 1960D roll? It happened because the 97 roll wasn't a solid roll. Had to replace it. Adam Chambers. Nothing there. On to the next side. Come on. Scope's giving me issues. All right. That's Adam Chambers, coin number 26. Coin number 27. Midnight Silver Run. Midnight Silver Run will take the next one. So far, we have not run into one single RPM. Not one. No RPMs, no double dies. It happens once in a while. It honestly does. I just don't like it when it happens to me. Especially when it's being passed on. I definitely don't like that. Here's coin number 27. Midnight Silver Run. Now for coin number 28. Mr. Worley. And what do we get here? Is it? No. I don't think so. Nope. Nothing there. There is a nifty little spot above the 6. Interesting. Not exactly sure what that is, but it's just damage on the die. Makes for a nice marker. Not for much of anything else, though. Pick up on the other side here and see what happened. It is a late die state coin all the way around. No doubling on this one. On to coin number 29. And coin number 29 will belong to Levels of Madness. Levels of Madness will get this. Just another regular 1960D Lincoln Cent. It's a little bit earlier dice date than some of these other ones. Some swirly die scratches down below the bust. I'm seeing enough repetitiveness between the dies to convince me this is an original roll. Just happens to be on this day. I guess the mint wasn't making any mistakes. Go figure, right? I wonder how many days they operated not making RPMs compared to the days they operated making RPMs that year. I would have to say that we've run into a slight minority here. Levels of Madness is next. Ooh, looky there. Bam, that's RPM number 2 right there. That's a nice one. Too bad we haven't run into any of those yet. That's cute. There we go. That's a nice RPM number 2 right there. I'll bring your light up a little bit so you can see it better. RPM number 2, it's a 4-star D over D West. Not quite as nice as RPM number 1, but if RPM number 1 didn't exist, this one would be the big RPM for the date. So we did end up with something in these rolls, just not many of them. It's kind of hard to swallow. I run into an RPM, I want 5 or 6 of them at least. But that is a nice 1960 D RPM number 2, and it will go to Levels of Madness. Hopefully we'll draw enough of them and draw enough different names to make this roll worthwhile. Pretty nice condition all the way around, obverse and reverse. Yeah, what I'm using to view the coins is a Dino-Lite Edge. It is a digital microscope, dinolite.com. It's dino-lite.com. They have a number of different models there. This comes with its own software where you can control any one of 4 different lights. Another one for levels. Let's see what levels gets this time. I'm going to go with not an RPM on this one, even though there's a little spike on the top of the mint mark. I think that spike is a die scratch. Yeah, that spike is part of a die scratch. So we're going to keep taking a look around, see what we find here. Yeah, if you purchase from Dino-Lite, tell them Copper Coin sent you. They may give you something extra. Who knows? And put this one in the holder for Levels of Madness. So we found one die variety so far in this roll, and it's one of the nicest RPMs for 1960D, but we've only found one example of it. J.O.B. J.O.B. At least it gives us a little bit of hope for the rest of the roll, right? J.O.B. will take coin number 32, and so far coin number 32 looks like just another normal 1960D Lincoln cent. And it is. And I need to focus. Focus, Chuck, focus. There we go. Okay, nothing here. Appears to be a dropped 8. That would be interesting. Remember that it has to be the exact same size and shape as the 8 that it is mirroring, because otherwise you just have some anomalous mark which could be damage. A lot of people see damage on coins and think they're dropped letters. And what they don't realize, I see one floating around right now. That's a Lincoln cent with supposedly a P mint mark on it. It's a 2008, I believe, or something like that. Maybe it's a 2019. It is a 2019, and they think it's a dropped mint mark. You don't have a dropped mint mark on coins where there's no mint mark to begin with. And the shape of the P was way too small, and it just didn't match the shape of a P mint mark anyway. Had to bat that one down. Still insists, though. You know how some people, they ask their question expecting you to give them the answer they want to hear, and when you don't, they argue that their answer is the right one anyway. So why did you bother coming here to ask? Pareidolia. That is correct. It does. Truth hurts sometimes. West Coast in the house. Stephen Dallas. Dallas, Oregon, that is. Started off this with a 1997 roll, and turned out that it wasn't really a 1997 roll. It was just a circulator roll with a nice 1997 on the end. So I had to cancel that real quick and move on to something else, and I didn't have any other 1997 rolls. So in lieu of doing another 1997 roll, which I did not have, I picked out a few rolls for people to pick from. They chose the 1960D roll unanimously. Been through 34 coins in the roll right now, and I've not found but one die variety in the entire roll, and it happens to be one single example of 1960D RPM number 2, which is a very nice, obvious RPM. I call it one of those grandma varieties. You could hand it to your grandma and she could look at it and tell you what it is. Oh, there's a doubled letter right there. Yes, Grandma, it's exactly what you're looking for. Oh. My scope is giving me fits. I think it's getting a little bit hot. Yeah, got nothing there. I've seen this die before a few times. Just finish your taxes. Yeah, I gotta work on mine. Get mine done to figure out what I'm gonna owe them in July. Myself a little bit of a reprieve so I can make some more money before I have to pay them. Farm Dog. Farm Dog is on number 36 right here. And number 36 is... Not seeing anything here. Thought I was there for a second, but that's just a die scratch. So, a lot of die scratches here. Not as many die varieties as I was hoping to get. But, we did get one really nice one. If that means anything. Yeah, most of the states are following the feds now. Most of them are. I do believe North Carolina has. You have to file by the 15th of April, but you don't have to pay with any penalties until the 15th of July. North Carolina, I do believe that you do incur interest while you're not paying. But on the Fed side, I think that's even been waived. No interest or anything until you've paid it by the due date. What did I do again? That was Farm Dog's coin. I put Jeff Dunn in there. How did I do that? Jeff Dunn gets the next coin. That's how that works. I end up messing up and pulling an extra name out. And I put it in the wrong sleeve. Oh, bam. This one's for Jeff Dunn. That is another RPM number 2. Nice, nice, nice. RPM number 2, 1960D. Not highly uncommon, but quite a bit less common than a number of the other RPMs. And very obvious. I mean, it's very obvious that's a D over D right there. Beautiful little coin right there. So, keep looking. See if we get anything error-like on the reverse. Or the reverse. Whichever way you want to say it. And that's for Jeff Dunn. Awesome, Jeff. Got yourself a nice one. Alright, next in will be Levels. Again, he already has one of those. There's a hair right on the mint mark. But I can see through it. I know what I'm looking for. Just for those who may be touched, I am going to flip this over and take a look at the reverse, and then I'm going to stop for just a moment. Or we can have a moment of silence thinking about Kenny Rogers, one of the great singers of all time. Multi-Grammy Award winner. Passed away yesterday, or last night. Let's think about him for a moment. Thank you, folks. The next coin to go to Shannon McCord. Yeah, when I was a kid, my dad used to listen to The Gambler. That was one of the things he'd listen to on the radio. I'd try to sing along with it. I just was horrible at doing it. But in my very unskilled singing voice, I did the best I could. And Lucille, that was a favorite among kids my age back in that day. Islands in the Stream. I mean, just about everybody can name at least 2 or 3 songs that Kenny Rogers did. He was so famous. Anybody ever taste his chicken? A chicken restaurant that I went to one time in Charlotte, North Carolina, about 30 years ago. Really good stuff. Thanks, Mr. Eubanks. I sound better. Not sure I feel much better, but I do sound better, I guess. Mr. Worley. See if you can pick a number 2 out of here. And he did. Bam. Right there. Another RPM number 2. This one's for Mr. Worley. Big old long die scratch right there. It's in rather nice condition. 1964 Philadelphia roll that has webbing all over it. The webbing, folks, is basically the soap that they used on the planchets to clean the coins prior to wrapping them. And it dried, leaving a residue on the coins, so that the coins ended up with what looked like cobwebs all over them. It does affect their grade quite heavily. And it's a horrible thing to get. But it's very normal for a lot of years of Lincoln cents, especially in the 50s and 60s. She was crying for Kenny Rogers. We stopped for a minute for Kenny Rogers to remember him. I will be very ready for this day to turn into tomorrow. Yeah, you look at Kenny Rogers' bio, and he wasn't always a salt and pepper bearded country crooner. He actually sang some rather hip songs back in the late 60s. With a band, I can't remember the name of it. Then he went out on his own in the early 70s. This will be coin number 42. So I'm going to Jeff Dunn. I want more of those number 2s. I want more of those number 2s. We want number 2. We want number 2. This one happens to be another one of those with that damage right above the 6 in the date. So we know we've been through this particular die already. And don't see anything here. So we're going to move on to the reverse. I think my thing about that word, I'm still stuck on it. I'm like one of these OCD people, shut up Jess, who is stuck on a particular word. And I'm stuck on reverse or reverse, however you're going to pronounce it. And to me, I know this is only personal preference. This is not correct or incorrect. It's just my own personal preference. I use reverse as a gear. Put it in reverse. Reverse it back to me. And when I'm talking about the back side of a coin, it's reverse. So it's reverse or reverse, depending on what you're talking about doing. Copper Coins auction tomorrow, Sunday, the 22nd of March at 3 p.m. Eastern Time with your host, Jessica Johnson. going to have a lot of nice stuff. You got to be there. You might just get a steal. You never know. There will be pictures of that stuff up on Copper Coins right now. So you can go take a look at it. Pictures of all the items she's going to be running. Not another number 2 so far. We're on coin number 44. We're hoping for at least a couple more before the end of the roll. Shannon, we will require that you put your bells in your pocket when you get there because we don't want you disturbing the remainder of the bidders. Thank you very much and have a nice day. No distractions, please. And keep your arms and legs inside the cart at all times during the ride. That was for Shannon. Get Shannon's coin in there. Now we got Paul Hampton. Paul Hampton. Not number 2. Not a number 2. Yeah, this roll's still pretty cool. I mean, it's got a lot of decent coins in it. A lot of coins in pretty decent shape. And, well, the RPM number 2s, those things typically sell for around $10 a piece. So we found $30 worth of them in this roll so far. You got that right, Shannon. Sir, yes, sir, you must be a military veteran, I propose. I know a lot of things I can say to military veterans, but most of them aren't clean enough for YouTube. Hey, look at that. That's interesting. That's a first one here. Is that... Oh, darn it. That's not an RPM. That's just a piece of string or something on there. Son, got your mic going? Awesome. Yeah. That's just a piece of string or something. Nothing special. I thought it was extra serif up there. Right immediately, it just kind of hit me. But it's just one of the normal dies in the roll. All right, so nothing on that one for Deanne. We've got 4 coins left in the roll. Let's do an RPM war dance. Let's get the RPMs. Come on, RPMs. And we didn't get one there. Somebody's not dancing hard enough. It's a nice earlier dice date coin that is pretty nice and clean. It does have a few little spots on it, though. Well, we got nothing there. Nothing on that side of that coin. Number 47. That's coin number 47 for Shannon McCord. Keep myself straight here. That way I know what I'm doing. Where's my other 3 names? Oh, there's one of them. All right, Mr. Worley. Mr. Worley will get coin number 48. That's coin number 48 right here. Coin number 48 is... It's that one that I want to look at again under the big scope to see what they are, because I've got a few of them in here, and it looks like there's some chance it could be an RPM, but then again, it doesn't really look like one. So I'll have to check over it real quick. It's kind of hard to give a link to a Facebook post. It's on Facebook. See if I don't. You're probably looking at the auction listing. She may or may not have that done. I think she does. I'm sure when you do reveals, you'll do just fine. So, Mr. McBride for coin number 49. 49 is this coin right here. Also not an RPM. A little tiny error right there. Looks like a crack in the planchet. Or no, that's a struck through. Just struck through. A little tiny wire bristle or something. Interesting little thing. If we have another bigger one, it'd make this coin have a little bit of sparky interest, which could actually help its value. But I don't see anything else on there, and that's really kind of too small to dig out. You know about this one? Tilted RPM? Yeah, I don't think so, buddy. I don't see anything on the serifs. Or are you talking about the last one? Probably the last one. Yeah, it kind of looks like it might be a little bit of a tilted RPM to me, too. But I'll just have to go through the roll again, just like I always do. Every time I do this, I go through the roll a second time just to make sure that I haven't missed anything. And I have, in the past, found things that I did miss. I have also, in the past, found things that I thought I found that really weren't much of anything. So it kind of goes both ways. Sword cuts both ways, right? Okay, so that's going to be Joe McBride's coin. And the final coin, coin number 50, go to Wild Bill. What does Wild Bill get? Not an RPM. So we end up with 3 of those in this roll. Was still a fun and interesting roll, even though it wasn't a 1997. Hey, this looks like it could be. Do you think that's RPM number 18? No. It may be an RPM. But it's not number 18. There's... At this particular angle, it looks like there's something shooting across the bottom. So, I'll just leave it for when I look through the rest of everything. See if there's anything there. Let's take a look at the other side. See if there's anything there. This was up against a piece of cardboard, so it has browned down some. Toned down. Doesn't have any real good color on it, so it's not going to be an end roll toner. Well, it is, but it won't sell as one anyway. And there we go. That's it. That's all I've got, folks. A 1960 D roll that I didn't plan on doing. So we got that. We got 47 regular coins, and we've got 3 RPM number 2. We've got coin number 40 going to Mr. Worley. We've got coin number 37 going to Mr. Dunn. And we've got coin number 30 going to Levels of Madness. Yep, I got to get Wild Bill's name in here. Last coin in the roll. And we'll take another quick look at the RPM. I'm going to pull Levels coin out. We'll just take another quick look at the RPM. Just to make everybody who didn't get one jealous. There it is. Really nice D over D West. Well, Bill, I think in a couple of other rolls you've been dead first. So what's going on with that? You're at both ends of the roll. Just watching a conversation happen here. All right, and I guess on that note, I'm kind of done for right now. I think I'm going to need to reschedule the later reveal because I'm not going to have time to check the roll and then come back in and scramble to figure out what I'm doing to replace it if it isn't good. Let me go get the roll real quick. So this is the roll. It's a Bank 1 OBW roll. And I'll go ahead and pry this open now so we can see if it indeed actually is a 1998 original bank wrap roll. Just looking for solid all the way through. All 98. There's that side. sometimes it's just about pretty much impossible to tell. Then you dig into it and it's like, I got jinxed by the bank wrapper. It happens. All right, let me roll this one over. Okay, this one does appear to be original. Put my eyeballs on here and check for spots. Yeah, they're original, but they're spotty. So these were stored in moisture. Not good. So I'm going to have to cancel tonight's go of this. You can see right here, this is one of them. Very spotty roll. So I will cancel for now, and I will redo tomorrow. This is the common close AM anyway. So I'll hit you up for tomorrow. Cancel tonight, hit you up for tomorrow sometime. Try to get that one done. Yeah, these are horrible. I don't want to give these coins out to anybody. These coins is nasty. They got spots and all kinds of stuff all over them. I'll have to get into my better stash. I figure we can look through here, through a few coins for the people who are left, and just see if we have any white AMs. And if we have any white AMs, we'll draw somebody to give it to. Even though they're spotty, right? Because the rest of these are just going into a penny bin to go to the bank. Because they're not worth keeping out. These are not collectible coins at all. This one's horrible. Look at this. Wow. I'm glad I didn't count on this roll. Now I've got to turn around and find another one, of course. One that'll be in better shape. But at least we're going to know now if anybody would have gotten any close AMs out of it, because I'll just do this real quick. Go through all 50 coins. See if I find any white AMs. White AM is not common on 1998 Lincoln Cents, but it's also not very scarce. Night, Wild Bill. You take care of yourself. And almost halfway through them. See, if I'm just poke searching them like this, I can get through them pretty fast. Nothing so far. Oops. All the coins have a certain amount of crud on them, so none of these are collectible coins. Night, Tim Crow. Shannon, good night to you. Yeah, I'll find a different roll, and we'll get this rescheduled. Find a roll that I can trust the source on a little bit better. Evidently, I can't trust the source on these. Not good at all. I think I might just quit doing zinc coins altogether, because you never know when you're going to run into a junk roll. And this one's definitely a junk roll. Oh, it does happen, I know. I can't tell you how many rolls I've opened that I had expected to be nice rolls and found them in this condition. But when it comes right down to it, this is a job that I'm doing, and I should know better than to try to count on rolls like these. It's a little die chip on the E, but it's still close AM. Nothing there. Nothing there. like we've been through enough of this roll now to probably know that there's not going to be anything collectible in here at all. Coins are worth exactly 1 cent each, which is exactly what I'm going to get for them. Once in a while, you just got to take them to the bank. As soon as I opened this roll, I could see a few little tiny black spots around the rim on a number of the coins. And I thought, yeah, this isn't going to be good. A nice Jim BU Wide AM in 1998 would probably bring $10 to $20. You too, Tim. You have a great night, sir. There's another one with the die chip on the E. Nah, there's not going to be any Wide AMs in this roll. Almost done with the roll and haven't found one yet. So you know what that means? It gives us a better chance in the next roll I find to go through, right? There's a little better chance in the next roll we go through. This is it right here. Nope, still normal. Well, back in the day, up until probably about 2010 or so, the 98s weren't all that difficult to find in change, in really good shape. But now most of the 98s that are in change are not in good shape. So if you find one, you're going to get one that's kind of been wasted away. The 99 is the one that's the real chief. That's the one that everybody's after because it's so scarce. You can still get a couple $100 for one of those. All right. Well, we're done with that roll. Yay. That one's going to the zinc pit. Just a bunch of spotty zinc coins. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and take off. I will reschedule this 1998 roll reveal for tomorrow. And I'm going to go ahead and head out for the night. And I'll see you guys later.